In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up an AI chatbot on your website so you can focus on creating content and getting leads and leave all the customer support stuff to an AI bot like this. So I'm going to show you how to set up a chatbot using this tool here, which is called Lindy AI. And so the chatbot can live on your website. It can answer questions about your courses, about your offers, about your refund policies, all of the questions that we get from students and prospective students about our offers, right? So I'm going to walk you through how to set this up inside of Lindy. It can answer all of those questions. And if you get a complex query that the chatbot cannot answer, I'll show you how to direct it to send you a message on Slack so that you can handle it yourself. So let me just give you a high-level overview of what we're doing with this automation, okay? So it starts with a chatbot that I have embedded here on my website, and I'll show you how to set that up, but this is what it looks like physically on your site, okay? And then we're start off with a couple of conditions here, okay? So we're gonna take two paths here. The first path is whether the chatbot can actually answer the question. So let's say someone has a question about the price of your course or what's included or what's the refund policy, right? So if the chatbot has that answer, and I'll show you how to give it the answers, then we allow the chatbot to actually answer the question. Now, however, and this is just a fictional use case here, let's say that the question from a user is about something that we don't want the AI to answer. We want a human to answer. So in this fictitious example about a health course, we have a path here where if it's about dietary restrictions or if it's about specific health concerns, then we don't want the chatbot to answer that. We want a human to answer that, and I'll show you how to set up that path separately as well. So those are the two paths. Now, for the first path, if the chatbot is able to answer, we're going to provide it with a knowledge base of information for it to search through. So, for example, if the question is about the price of the course, then the AI will know the price of the course based on this knowledge base that I've given it about this fictitious course. So the AI will be able to search through this information, understand the context of the question, and then provide the answer in the chat itself, right? So if it has the answer and it's in the knowledge base, it knows that it's allowed to answer, and hopefully it will provide an answer to the customer here, right, as it's done. So the example, I think there's multiple courses, so it's explaining the 30-day challenge is $97. This course is $129, right? So if it has the answer, then it will send the message. So that's the entire path. Now, if it does not, if it's not able to answer it based on the condition, then what we're going to do is we're going to have the chat bot send us a message, meaning the owner of the website, a message on Slack, basically saying, hey, this question is about dietary restriction or some other topic that you don't want the AI to answer. And you can get back to the customer directly, and I'll show you how to set that up as well. And now let me just demonstrate a couple of questions that I'm going to feed the AI bot. Now, again, this is for your digital courses, it's for your memberships, it's for FAQs, refund policies, all those questions that we get when people land on our website. It's really for whatever information you want to give the AI to answer questions about. Now, again, I have a dummy example about a fitness offer that's on the site, and I've got some dummy questions here that I'm gonna share. So let me just copy this first one, right? So it's about what's included in the 30-day nutrition challenge and how much does it cost, right? People always have these types of questions. So let's pretend that a user was on my site and I'm selling this fitness course. It's a nutrition challenge, and the person's just wondering how much does it cost and what do I get, right? What's included? So what's happening is the AI is basically reading through this knowledge base, which I've provided it, everything here to below, and I'll get into the knowledge base a little bit later on. So it's querying that knowledge base and it's giving us the answer, right? So it's our most popular offering. Here are the details, the price, what's included, the content, information about the course, if you have specific questions, and this is all made up stuff down here. But you can see how thorough it is at answering the question and giving information to the student. Now, the second dummy question that I have here is, how long do I have access to the course materials, right? And I think I provided that answer. Now, to be clear, the AI should only be able to provide an answer based on the knowledge that you've given it. And we'll get to the knowledge-based part of this automation in a second. So I believe I've given it this information. So it's saying, how long do I have access to the course? All right, so here's the answer. It comes with lifetime access, right? So after you purchase, you can revisit the materials, yada, yada, yada. So there answered that question about lifetime access, right? Doing a great job. Now, the third question, and I'll get into this as well, is I'm going to try to trip it up here. So remember, I set a filter that I haven't gotten into yet, but this is basically saying, hey, I don't want the chatbot to answer any questions about dietary restrictions or personalized advice, or if they have health concerns, right? I don't want an AI bot to deal with that. I want the AI to kick it over to me. Now, I don't know if this is going to work, but this question is intended to test the AI, right? So I'm going to ask it about specific dietary needs due to my health condition, right? So we can train, and this is just one example, we can train the AI bot and we can program the AI bot to answer these types of questions, but don't answer these types of questions. So, all right, so this worked extremely well. So it's giving us a little stock answer at the top, but it's doing what it should be doing, right? So Sarah is the fictitious owner of this health course, right? So it's like, we want to ensure you get the most appropriate advice. For this reason, I've alerted our team lead, who was a certified coach, and they will blah, 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 blah. In the meantime, what's the best way for Sarah or her team to get in touch with you? Would you prefer they reach out via email or another method if you prefer? So it adhered to my restriction here, which was, hey, do not provide an answer if it's about this question. Instead, ask for a way to get in touch, right? And so I can say, sure, my email is hi@mikefutia.com. And then I'm going to provide it with an email. And on the back end, which I will show you, Lindy, or the bot over here, is tracking this entire conversation. And so I'll be able to go into it and also into Slack to get the conversation history and to get the email here, right? So now I've collected the lead, or I've collected the email. So I personally, as Sarah, can reach out and answer the question without the AI dealing with specific health concerns, right? So the use case here is really cool. Put the bot on, feed it an FAQ knowledge base all about our business, our courses, our offers. If there's kind of any questions that you don't want the AI bot to answer, we just set up this filter here, which I'll get into a little bit, that tells us, hey, there's a question that we don't want the AI to answer. You should reach out and answer it yourself. Now, I want to show you the back end of this Lindy automation. So right now, we're just looking at the automation builder, but where did that conversation go, right? Because it happened on the front end of your website, but that person's going to X out. You're not seeing this on the front end. This is from the viewpoint of the user or the customer. But inside of Lindy, right, when I click this back to task button and then go back inside the automation itself and just click into this most recent one. So this is everything that happened from the front end, and we're viewing it on the back end. So this is the conversation. It's showing the condition that was met, right? The answer that Lindy gave, so on and so forth. And so if you ever need to review the chats, this is how you do it. It's on the back end, right? So this is where I give my email address so I can follow up there with the lead. Not only that, but what I'm going to show you next is that I have it set up to send me a notification in Slack when the AI is not able to answer the question. But this is where we can access all of the chat history. It's on the back end of Lindy. Now, the other cool thing that we've set up here is that, again, for those conversations that require escalation, we have it set up so that a Slack message gets sent directly to me. So inside of Slack, you can see this happened at the time that this started. Lindy is sending me a message saying, hey, a user has asked about a specific dietary need due to their health condition, yada, yada, yada. It requires personalized advice that I'm not equipped to provide. Then it gives me a link to the conversation, right? So that's number one. And then when I gave it the email address as the user, right, they've provided their email address for follow-up. So it's pinged me on Slack with a link to the conversation for me to review. And it provided me with the email address so I can follow up personally with the person who was asking that question. So really powerful stuff. All right, so let's actually build this out from scratch. I'm in Lindy, I'm in my dashboard. I'm just gonna hit new Lindy. I'm gonna hit start from scratch. Now, the first thing, we're just gonna recreate this, is a Lindy embed, okay? So I'm gonna do select trigger, and I'm gonna select Lindy embed. All right, so what this is the chatbot, right? This is the actual thing that's going to appear on your site. So we can, first thing we need to do is give it your domain. In other words, where is this site, where's this chatbot going to live? It's going to live on your website. Then you can give it a display name, right? So I just have the name of my site and then AI agent. So it's basically what's going to appear right up there. So again, I just do my name and then letting people know that it's an AI bot. So I put AI agent. Now you can change the colors here, right? And so it's going to change that top color right there. So we'll just go with that. Pop up, leave it selected there. You can change where you want it positioned, right or left. The shape looks pretty much the same. So I'm going to leave right in circle. I'm going to leave all this other stuff, the spacing the same. If you want, you can upload your logo and your icon, and it's going to show up here, and it's going to show up right there. Okay, you can see how I have my logo and my icon. So that's where you do it here, just by uploading the images. And then for the call out message, it's, what do you want the user to see when they first open up the chatbot, right? So it's going to say, you can type however, how can I help you? How can we help? So on and so forth. All right. So these are the settings for the very first step, which is this Lindy embed. And now I'm going to show you in the next step how to embed the chatbot so it shows up on your website. All right. So how do we get this chatbot on our website? So we need to embed this little code snippet here. Now I'm going to use WordPress in this example because I use WordPress. The process is similar for Kajabi or Squarespace, whatever kind of web hosting platform you're using. But the idea is we want to take this code here. So I'm going to copy this clipboard. Now I need to get this into the header tag of my site. So in WordPress, what we can do is I'm in my plugins. Okay, I'm going to add a new plugin, and I'm going to search for WP code. You can see I already have it installed here. So you're gonna want to install and then activate that. It is a free plugin. And then what you're gonna want to do is go into code snippets, right? And then go to header and footer, which is where I am right now. So this is after the plugin is installed. You'll see this area that says code snippets, then click header footer, and then you just want to paste in that script. So I'm actually going to copy the chatbot that is actually live and saved. So I'm going to copy this, come back into that plugin. Let me delete the one that's not actually saved and running. So I'm going to paste that in. I'm going to hit save changes. I'm going to go back to my site. And there it is right there at the bottom right. So there's that how we can help text. And then I'm going to click that open. And now a user can chat. So that's how you get it installed on a WordPress site. All right, so next we need to build out these routes here, or these filters, right? Remember, we have kind of two different actions that our chatbot is going to take depending on what kind of question it is. So let's build out this first condition first, which is requires escalation, right? So back in my fresh template here, I'm going to add the next step, which is going to be a condition. Okay, and then I'm going to copy this over. And again, this is just my use case in this specific area. You don't have to have a route, but if you do, this is how you would set it up. So this condition is go down this path if the user's question is about dietary restrictions, yada, 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 right? And so the next thing that we want to do is grab that URL, okay? We want to get the URL from this chat. So after that, I'm going to hit perform an action, Lindy utilities, get conversation URL. Okay. And so it's going to grab that from the chat history. Now from here, we're going to take that URL of the Lindy chat and send it to me in a Slack message so that I'm alerted that I need to follow up. Right, so from the bottom here, we're going to add a step from the conversational URL. We're going to do perform an action. I'm going to search for Slack, and then I'm going to send a channel message here. So I've got my Slack is already connected. If you don't have yours connected, you're going to have to connect your Slack. I'm going to leave the model the same, and now the message, I am going to do an AI prompt here, and I'm going to say, send me a link to the conversation so I can intervene, and then I'm just going to come here and get the conversation URL output from Lindy and apply it right here. So now the conversation URL is going to get passed to me in Slack like I showed earlier. So before we go to the next step, sorry, I had the wrong Slack. It should be, in my use case, send a direct message. So everything else is the same, but the Slack module should be a direct message. Now, after the message is sent, we want to then send a message to the user who's on the chat. And the way that we're going to do that is with another Lindy embed, meaning the embed being the chatbot. So after message sent, I'm going to click this plus button, perform an action, Lindy embed, send a message to the user, okay? And I'm going to do an AI prompt here, and I'm going to say, tell the user you've alerted the team lead and ask the best way to immediately get in touch, okay? So that completes this part of the condition where we have to escalate the issue. All right, now that we have the escalation part of the automation done, we want to add that second condition, which is, hey, if it's a question about my course or the pricing or the login or whatever, then it's okay to advance. So I'm going to click into condition, and then I'm going to add a condition. And I've got this pasted on my clipboard here, which is, again, if the user's question is about course offerings, pricing, or general FAQ about this fake coaching program that can be found in the knowledge base, right? So then it will go to the knowledge base, which we will set up next. All right, now I want to insert the knowledge base, right? So this is the information that we're going to give Lindy about our course so that it can respond intelligently to any questions, right? And so we're going down this path now, right, where the user's question is actually about our course. So I'm going to hit plus, and here I'm going to do search knowledge base. And the way that you do this is, well, they give you many, many options here. You can upload files, you can link to a website, you can paste in text, all these other options. I prefer Google Drive. And so what I've done here in this dummy example, and let me just kind of delete, not that it really matters, but let me delete these questions here. Right, so this is what I gave Lindy, not this either. This is what I gave Lindy as my knowledge base example. And I just had ChatGPT create this because this is just a fake offer, just to give it something for the demo. but it's information about the different courses, the offerings, what's included, the price, yada, 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 and some FAQs, okay? And so I created it in Google Drive. And so what I'm going to do in Lindy is link this document to our automation. So Lindy will now have access to the information here, so it can answer questions based on this information. So this was created in my Google Drive account, okay? So back to Lindy, I'm gonna go to Google Drive. I'm already linked up here. If you're not set up, you have to link your account. I'm gonna do add a Google file. I'm gonna go to add file. And then I've mapped, so here's the actual file that I'm gonna map. I'm gonna hit select. All right, now we can see Lindy chatbot knowledge base example, right, is now linked to this automation. So I'm gonna hit save, and now here we have it linked up. All right, now that we've got our knowledge base added to the automation, we need to give it a prompt, right? So what to search for in the knowledge base. So I'm gonna change this auto here to an AI prompt, and I'm gonna give it a prompt like this. Search the knowledge base for information relevant to the user's question. If the question is about course details, pricing, yada, yada, provide a response. If the query responds to personalized advice or is about dietary restrictions, indicate you'll need to escalate to Sarah, who's the fake course seller in this video, for a more detailed response. So this is the query that the knowledge base is going to work off of. All right, last step of the automation. So after it's going to search the knowledge base, it needs to provide a response, right? So we're going to add a step here. We're going to perform an action. We are going to do a Lindy embed, which is the chatbot, and we need to send it a message, okay? So click into send message, click on AI prompt, and I've got one here from Lindy itself that says only respond with info from your knowledge base, only respond with info to the specific question that is asked. If the user's question has anything to do with it, we're kind of just repeating ourselves over and over again, and then you can put in, so it says here, but not covered in the general course information or FAQs, instruct the user to email user's email. So, and then we're going to hit save. And now this is how you rebuild this automation from scratch. Once you're done, you'll have the AI chatbot up and running on your website to answer any questions or concerns about your courses or your offerings or your coaching or whatever you're selling on your site. Hey guys, so I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to see more videos on how to use AI and automation in your digital course business, let me know what you want to see next. And if you don't mind, like and subscribe to the channel.